boy athlete, watching him go do his thing, it's special. And I'm very blessed and grateful that I had a role model like him to look up to, who's done it the right way, through adversity, through challenge. He's maintained true to who he is. So I appreciate that. And wearing the number 8 is always a reminder, I represent more than just myself.
You pay attention to any of the Heisman talk?
Sorry. Say that again?
I read that you thought you were going to go to the NFL last year.
Yep.
Good things changed. What exactly do you think brought you to I'm trying to read between the lines and everything after that.
Yeah, there's initial plans for me to, go to the NFL after the season. Of course, once you think you got a plan, God's got another one for you, and has always kept me guessing. But I wouldn't want it any other way. But I think I'm right where I need to be. And when I made that decision to leave, Coach Lanning called, Coach Stein called, and there's immediate alignment with one another, just in terms of clear vision of what we want to do. It's the national championship, offensive fit, and then the returning pieces, but also the pieces coming in. And I think it wasn't a matter of if, it was just how we're going to get it done. And, I appreciate him and just kind of that whole process that got us to this point.
What's the biggest thing that you worked on and improved on from UCF to Oklahoma till now?
Yeah, I think you just continue to gain confidence and experience and learn and grow throughout that process. Ups, downs, adversity. I've kind of seen almost all of it, but I think I just have grown and gotten better from each experience and taken the next step, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, and then of course, in a leadership role or as I get older, continue to grow in that area of my life. I think is probably just as important. I'm realizing, being able to get people to, be influenced by you and play at a high level as well, and getting people to be the best version of themselves. So to kind of wrap it all up, I think every area is continue to take, steps and be really good at what you pride yourself on.
Has Bo Nix given you any advice coming in?
Say that again?
Has Bo Nix given you any advice coming into?
Yeah, we talked initially. He's a busy guy as well. And just his time during his pro day, we were able to have conversations. But also just throughout that time, I think seeing what he was able to do and accomplish, here at Oregon, I think it gave a clear representation of what the offense could look like if executing at a high level.
What's the biggest difference between UCF, Oklahoma, and now being at Oregon? What stands out about being at Oregon?
I'd say just the different version of myself. I think when I look back, at UCF, I was a young, learning pup, and then Oklahoma, I kind of came into my own, and then here at Oregon, they're really getting the best version of me in terms of how I play the game. So I think more so on my end, the growth and the evolution of my game has definitely been kind of the change throughout this journey.
Is it crazy to think you've been in 3 schools? I mean, is that kind of crazy? A little bit, Dillon, when you look back on it?
Yeah, it is.
It's a modern way, though, almost, isn't it? Or,
yeah, and I think, initially, it's not necessarily what I planned to do. I want to be that 4-year guy who, has been at a school and has done it. But I think, with what it is now and, where I was, and I just think there's, opportunity. And I'd be a hypocrite if I said, the portal's not good, because I've been very blessed and appreciate, the opportunities I've been given. So, I think it's all perspective. And I think with anything, there's good and bad, but, I try to make the most good I can.
Have you spent some time with Phil Knight?
I have not, to be determined, but, in the near future, there definitely is.
And a quick follow-up, going to a place like Oregon, is part of that decision knowing that they have the resources to put the elite players around you?
I haven't thought about it like that.
Okay.
But now that you say it, I mean, that definitely could be something. But most importantly, I think, belief in the head man and the guys he's got to coach us and the staff. I think, belief in that, because I do also believe that, NIL only goes as far as you can, and I think still you have to walk into that building and trust and believe in the people that are coaching you and making the decisions. So there's definitely a part of it, but I think if you look at it from a full and encompassing decision making, I think there's a lot more that goes into it that can help with that as well.
Dillon, when you enter the portal,
communication, and how do you think that will, the pros and if there are any cons to having that implemented this season?
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons. I think I heard Aaron Rodgers say sometimes it's a little too much. He wish he could mute it, but I also believe that it's just another way for good communication and allowing it to be a advantage to how you use it. But I think as the game evolves, the more it's like the NFL, the less change it is when you go from college to the NFL. So the more we can make it, an even playing field or more, normal and less disparity between the two, I think it can only help.
What did you think about your player rating?
Shoot, I can't complain. I'm grateful for it. Of course, we got to talk about the speed, strength, and jump. But I know I'm not this physical specimen, but shoot, there's some love for some other guys as well.
Have you played on yourself yet?
I haven't done that yet, but I've played 4 games.
when you entered the transfer portal, were you pretty much set on going to Oregon? Was Ohio State ever a factor or a possibility for you?
Yeah, I had conversations with 2 programs on top of Oregon, and kind of just did my due diligence. But I think once I did go on that visit to Oregon, and I was able to see it and be at the facility, talk through things, I think it was one that I couldn't pass up. And like I said, having conversations in alignment immediately, and being in my 6th year, knowing what's real and what's not, it was one that I saw right away and had to make a decision.
What were your conversations with Ryan Day like?
Shoot, it was good. I think with anything throughout that process, it's just gaining information on one another. I think it's the recruiting process is what it is, and I think everyone that was a quarterback in the portal was able to have conversations in different schools.
I know that they wanted to wait. I mean, that was their thing. They
Yep.
wanted to see Devin Brown play in the Cotton Bowl.
Yep.
I'm assuming that was a big factor. You didn't want to wait, right? You wanted to get going.
For sure. I think going through, my 3rd recruiting process, I know it's a stressful time for anyone and anyone who's transferred, although there's, beauty in it with new beginnings and all that. Everyone knows the stress and, a lot that comes with it, whether it's the moving companies, the moving in, there's just a lot that comes with it. So, the faster you can make a decision and feel good about it, be decisive, then it allows you to act accordingly.
I'm
With that
looking
said, how
forward to playing
crazy,
them.
how crazy is to think 2 Big 12 quarterbacks last year could be going against each other on October the 12th. With Will Howard sitting there. at
Yeah,
Ohio State. Is that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's, to me, it's different in college football because it is new, but I also believe, in the NFL, it was one league, and, Peyton went from Indianapolis Colts to the Denver Broncos, and, it was different, but life moved on, and to me, I just think, like I said, the less disparity between the NFL and college, whether it's like the, in-helmet communication, tablets on the sideline, some sort of free agency that we're talking about. I just think that it'll be better for the players in adjusting to the next level.
Several of us are from the Columbus area who are standing here in front of you right now. How do you look at this season and not at least peak toward Ohio State on October the 12th? Everybody nationally is looking at it as a huge showdown game. You as a player, how do you keep that in perspective?
Yeah, I think you keep it in perspective as, you still got to play the games beforehand. And, of course, there's matchups that everyone looks forward to. And I think that's what makes it fun about college football. But, each week you have to go out and produce. It's a production-based sport. And what have you done for me lately? And, that's why, living in the now, living in the moment will be really good for the players. And, that's part of your guys' job of getting ahead and getting it right for us and getting all the excitement going. So I appreciate you guys doing that.
Do you know? Do you know Will Howard at all?
I do. So I of course, the Big 12, knew of him. Playing the first year against them, and the second year we didn't play against each other, but knew of him, and then met at the Manning camp this year. But very familiar with his game due to just watching, whether it's when he was playing at K-State, and then opponents we'd watch. We'd have film from there.
What do you think of him as a quarterback?
No, extremely talented. I think he does a great job of running the football and throwing the ball. Great command, and has done a great job. At K-State, and it'd be exciting. Those are the type of matchups you look forward to, and that week rolls around. So,
Coach Lanning said you went golfing with him recently. What's been the process kind of off the field of getting to know him, Coach Stein, as people, and what other things have you done together?
Yeah, whether it's the dinners at his house, the golf, just having that time together. Meetings in his office just about life, ball, everything in between. You just appreciate a guy like that. Him being younger, I think he understands the younger generation, and is able to connect with us well. And he does a good job of it. But he's real, he's authentic, he's genuine in the way he communicates. I think that allows us to be vulnerable, and that's why that respect and relationships are there. So I appreciate him. As a defensive-minded head coach, he appreciates the relationship with the quarterback, and also realizes that that's important, as well as it's important to me. So whether we're playing 9 at ECC or in the office just chopping it up, I appreciate him, a whole bunch.
Dillon, how are you handling the kind of hype and attention that comes from being the preseason Heisman favorite?
Yeah, I think all that is, it is what it is. Talk is cheap, and hype is cheap for players in the sense that, what happens preseason doesn't necessarily affect anything, when season comes around. So, that may be happening. And like I said, I acknowledge it and appreciate the excitement and everyone, get excited for season. But, the truth is, when we line it up and the clock starts, kickoff, hits, we're rolling, and, you have to produce, and it's what have you done for me lately.
You mentioned